What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. I know you guys could probably already tell it is going down just by that title alone. You're definitely going to see this one as we have Nancy Pelosi absolutely breaking down, losing it live on CNN as host Jake Tapper accidentally plays this Trump clip exposing Kamala Harris. Guys, I'm excited to get into it. So we're not straight into it. Just make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Before we even get into it, you guys, hit that like button, also hit that subscribe button for your boy. And without further ado, let's jump straight into it, folks. Check this out.
I'm sure that you hear from progressive voters, Democratic voters who say, as I hear from them on social media, the media made such a big deal out of Joe Biden's alleged cognitive problems. Why don't they talk about Donald Trump's cognitive problems? Well, Donald Trump talked about that just a second ago, and I want to get your reaction. Let's run that clip.
They laugh at us all over the world. They're laughing at us. And you know what they're really laughing at? Kamala, because they can't believe that she's going to be president. They can't believe. You talk about cognitive problems? She's got bigger cognitive problems than he has, in my opinion.
Donald Trump saying that Kamala Harris has bigger cognitive problems than Joe Biden.
Why would you even cover that? This is a person who's not on the level. He is their nominee for president. He is incompetent. That's not even...
Guys, look at her. She is self-destructing. She can't believe Jake Tapper actually just played that. Like, look at her initial response to it. Why would you even play that?
That he has, in my opinion.
Donald Trump saying that Kamala Harris has bigger cognitive problems than Joe Biden.
Why would you even cover that? This is a person who's not on the level. He is their nominee for president. He is incompetent. Let's not even talk about the silliness of it all and the weirdness of it all and the assault on women that it is. We're not going to talk issues. Incompetent. The only thing he did as president, when he had the majority, was to pass a bill that gave a tax cut that gave 83 of the benefits to the top 1%, adding $2 trillion to the national debt. The worst job creation record of anybody president since.
Guys, she is absolutely scrambling to find some negative facts on Donald Trump because she can't believe what she just seen. Honestly, can't believe they let this one air out. Look at how bad she is.
Cut that gave 83 of the benefits to the top 1%, adding $2 trillion to the national debt. The worst job creation record of anybody president since Herbert Hoover.
Because of COVID, yes.
Why would you even cover that? Yep, that's exactly what you'd expect from Nancy Pelosi. I mean, it's pretty much all the previous thumbnails that I've made every time a new January 6th bombshell drops. Just in real life, she's doing the thing. Hide the truth. Don't show that. Why would you ever cover that? Why would you ever cover that? I mean, we're in the middle of an election season, lady. Both sides get to say things, and then you got to address it. You know, it's been years of Donald Trump's unfit. Donald Trump's crazy. The 25th Amendment should be used to unseat him from his office. And by the way, that was an effort mostly launched by Nancy Pelosi. It's okay to say that thing targeting Trump, but if it goes the other way, it's unacceptable. He's incompetent and the news shouldn't even show these clips. Give me a freaking break. It's more censorship. Democrats once again show exactly who they are. They're the party of control, the party of censorship. They want to control what people can and can't say, whether it's online or whether it's what shows up on the news broadcasts. Don't play clips of Donald Trump criticizing Kamala Harris. How dare you? That's offensive. What exactly is offensive, though? That's what I'm trying to figure out. The truth? I mean, let's be totally honest here. Democrats are pretending as if this statement from Donald Trump is outlandish, but I'd argue it's anything but. It's actually quite accurate. I mean, just yesterday, we were covering internal Teamster data showing support for the Democrat candidate by Teamster union members has shifted anywhere from 10 to sometimes over 30 points the moment Joe Biden dropped out of the race. Kamala Harris is also underperforming compared to Joe Biden in 2020 and even in some polls compared to his recent numbers in 2024. You know, in a way, the voters largely view Kamala Harris as less competent than Joe Biden, but that is apparently offensive. It's not offensive, it's the truth. You know, there's a reason they're hiding Kamala Harris. It's because she's not good at speaking.
And looking holistically at the connection between that and housing. And looking holistically at the incentives we in the federal government can create for local and state governments to actually engage in planning in a holistic manner.
I grew up understanding the children of the community are the children of the community.
And this movement that we're in about, as I like to say, seeing in the face of a stranger a neighbor.
Yes, yes,
Right?
yes, yes.
An extension of love thy neighbor, that you literally in the face of a stranger see a neighbor.
She's horrible at answering questions. She has no understanding of anything related to the economy or policy in general, and so they're hiding her. You know, it's like I've always said, they're doing the same thing with Kamala Harris as they did with Joe Biden. The whole thing with Joe Biden was to hide him, hide his cognitive decline, because again, he couldn't speak, he couldn't perform. And so the basement Biden strategy was employed. Well, what does it tell you that they're using the basement strategy with Kamala Harris? It tells you she's just as incompetent as he is, except it's even worse because she doesn't have an excuse. Meanwhile, Joe Biden does. I'm going to say that Trump statement gets a fact check true. You know, Joe Biden in his old age, he's certainly falling apart. He's absolutely incompetent. He's unfit to serve as president. But Joe Biden, the man, the politician, is no slouch. You know, if we get old clips of Joe Biden speaking, he was a very capable, I'd even argue, an extremely talented politician.
To put it in very personal terms for a moment, Joe Biden, me, I would settle for a world in which I could worry about the same kinds of things that my parents worried about, in which I only had to worry about the grades my children got in school rather than the drugs they're being exposed to, in which I only had to worry about the prices my wife had to pay at the supermarket instead of fearing that she might get mugged by a junkie in the parking lot as she loads her groceries into the car, in which tonight I could call my mom just to wish her pleasant dreams, not for the purpose of making sure she's safe in her own home. That's the kind of world I want. That's the kind of world you deserve.
This is what we're preaching today. This is actually what I think Donald Trump is running on. Looks like old Joe did have a head on his shoulder back in the day. The only thing is, knowing what I know now, he was probably lying about all of that because he has created, it just drove this country into the dumps. This also shows us that Kamala Harris is nowhere near the politician that what Joe Biden was at her age. We can just see that she is not qualified, not fit for the job. That shows it right there, guys.
Joe Biden at one point in time was a competent, intelligent human being. Kamala Harris at no point in time was a competent, intelligent human being. It's still a mystery to the world how she ended up where she is today. Nobody can explain it. The left will go on and they'll say, well, Kamala Harris, she's the most qualified person for the job, but she isn't. She wasn't a good student. That we already know. Her career was given to her on a silver platter by her then boyfriend, Willie Brown. I know Democrats love to dispute this, but more information continues to drop. We're learning a lot about Kamala Harris and her illustrious career. The Daily Mail did an expose recently. Kamala Harris said she worked her behind off under ex-lover Mayor Willie Brown, but new information about her time there reveals the truth. Kamala Harris was frequently absent from California Medical Assistance Commission meetings, even though she was appointed to the position by her boyfriend at the time and then Assembly Speaker Willie Brown. Harris and Brown dated for about a year when she was 29 years old, working as a lawyer for the Alameda District Attorney's Office, and he was the powerful speaker who ran for mayor of San Francisco at the age of 60. She dated a man who was 31 years her senior, and then just magically walked into a position, a very lucrative position, where she didn't even show up for work. Brown appointed Harris to the CMAC position in 1994, drawing some criticism from impropriety despite Brown's willingness to publicly flaunt accusations of political patronage. Harris had already served 6 months on the Unemployment Insurance Appeals Board, a job that paid $97,000 annually back in 1994, but resigned to take the new position with CMAC. It's unclear why Harris missed so many meetings, as she took leave from her job as the Alameda County District Attorney's Office, according to the Los Angeles Times. So she got a cushy job that matched her salary. She was paid a great deal of money, $99,000 annually, again back in 1994, and all told, Harris made over $400,000 over the 5-year period working that job that was handed to her. And just to add a little bit more context, the job required that board members meet twice a month. It wasn't even a full-time position. She only had to show up twice a month, and she couldn't even do that, but got paid over $400,000. Yeah, a real hard worker, a real capable.
Are we really surprised that Kamala Harris is neglecting her duties and her obligations? We've seen that she didn't visit the border in the entire time that she was appointed border czar. Are we seriously surprised that she neglected her responsibilities back in the day, stemming back to her past also? It's what she does, guys. It doesn't make sense.
Didn't do that, but got paid over $400,000. Yeah, a real hard worker, a real capable, competent person who some clowns in the media are claiming is the most qualified person to ever run for office.
Kamala Harris is more than ready for this moment. She is one of the most qualified people ever to seek the office of the presidency.
But we have to remember, Vice President Harris is one of the most qualified people to run in decades.
It's just crazy, and honestly, there's a common denominator here. Kamala just kind of walking into positions of power just because. I mean, she's the presidential nominee for the Democrat Party, but there wasn't even an election. She just gets placed in these places. She fails upwards. I mean, qualified, competent, my derriere. And actually, it gets even worse. We're also learning a whole lot about Kamala Harris's history as a prosecutor. Jeff Clark on Twitter writes, "Yesterday, I had promised my followers to run a search to see if Kamala Harris had ever argued any appeals, ever, even just one. I got busy, but now have completed that task. The short answer is no, never. I could not find any evidence that she had ever argued an appeal." I mean, this guy went through the entire government database. He claims the first part of that Boolean search finds the universe of all cases where Kamala Harris, including Kamala D. Harris and Kamala Devi Harris, or any other potential variant of her name appears. Then the second part of the search narrows that universe down to cases where the word argues appears within 2 words of her name. The search returns only 5 cases, see the pictures from below. Then I manually checked each of the 5 cases returned by the search. In each of those, one of her subordinates argued, not her. See, for example, the second picture below, noting that her subordinate, Steve Oding, was the one who argued Flournoy versus Small in the 9th Circuit, one of the 13 federal circuits. And this isn't new news. Kamala Harris has been challenged on this issue since back in the early 2000s, when Bill Fazio accused her of lying when she said that she had prosecuted hundreds of felony cases.
I'm glad you corrected. Ms. Harris, how many cases have you tried? Can you tell us how many serious felonies you have tried? Can you tell us one?
I've tried about 50 cases, Mr. Fazio, and it's about leadership.
Ms. Harris, why does your information, which is still published, say that you tried hundreds of serious felonies? I think that's misleading. I think that's disingenuous. I think that shows that you are incapable of leadership and you're not to be trusted. You've continued to put out information which says you have tried hundreds of serious felonies.
Guys, come on. Even stemming back to her past, people were saying that she is not capable of being a true leader, never put in a leadership position because you cannot trust her words, guys. Listen to these folks. If they're saying it back then, it's still valid now. I mean, it's right here.
You've continued to put out information which says you have tried hundreds of serious felonies.
Mr. Fazio, leadership
Can you answer my question?
Working with different communities. As a career prosecutor, I've done that, which is why I, not you, have every law enforcement organizations.
She hasn't prosecuted all of these cases. She doesn't have this illustrious career. She hasn't ever even argued an appeal. But somehow, she magically finds herself in these positions of extreme power and leadership, despite never having earned it. You know, I actually wasn't expecting the video to go this direction, but honestly, it was probably for the best of the video. Nancy Pelosi is appalled. You know, that seems to be the Democrat response to all this stuff. Willie Brown, how offensive, you're a sexist. You're a sexist if you question anything. You should be censored if you claim that Kamala Harris is incompetent. But the facts obviously show that Kamala Harris isn't exactly a top talent now, is she? I'm giving Donald Trump's statement a fact check true. Kamala Harris is more incompetent than Joe Biden is. And for a very long time, this was a unanimous understanding. I mean, even the left understood this.
How big a drag is Kamala Harris on the ticket?
I think she's a pretty big jag. I think she was arguably Biden's worst political decision of his presidency to pick her in the first place.
But now apparently it's offensive and should be censored, and Nancy Pelosi's throwing a tantrum at the idea that we'd have the conversation to begin with. What an absolute joke.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Come from my friend Liberal Hive Mind. I'll definitely be sure to leave that original video link down in the description box below. For those who want to go over there, check that out. Also, you guys definitely go over there and show our friend Liberal Hive Mind a bit of love. Go show some support, guys. Oh my goodness, guys. Jake Tapper about jumped out of his seat when Nancy Pelosi came at him saying, why would you even air that out? Why would you show that type of clip of Donald Trump slamming our candidate Kamala Harris, saying that she's worse off than Joe Biden? I mean, it's the truth, folks. It's really sad to see that people are mindlessly following behind her, supporting what is just feels like a blank candidate. There's nothing there. She's going to be the easiest candidate to control is what it seems like to me. But, you know, those on the left were still just behind her. I'm trying to wake them up. Show clips like this. We got Nancy Pelosi even freaking out because the truth is coming out. You know, even Jake Tapper is saying like, hey, it's the truth. You know, we're not getting much out of her. Seems like we just seen that silver platter of a career that was handed over to Kamala Harris. even back as a district attorney, saying she has never argued any appeals before. I mean, how, as a district attorney, it doesn't make sense. But then again, it's Kamala Harris, the same person who has been the Democrats' frontrunner, presidential nominee, their candidate, and has done barely any interviews. We just seen her first solo sit-down interview, and she didn't even answer any questions there. I mean, time in, time out. We're trying to figure out how she got there. We don't know, but she keeps failing up. Guys, hop in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd enjoy more content like this, catch you guys in the next week.